A Private War is a biographical drama film about one of the most celebrated war correspondents of our time, Marie Colvin, an incredibly brave and rebellious person who has been driven to write on the front lines of major conflicts across the globe to show the true human cost of war while constantly pushing herself to the limits psychologically, emotionally, and physically. After being injured by a grenade in Sri Lanka, she wears a distinctive eye patch and we follow her through a period of about 10 years, covering the conflicts from Iraq to Afghanistan to Libya and eventually Syria, as she comfortably drinks martinis with London's elite in her free time and confronts dictators exposing their lies when on duty. She sacrifices relationships, and over time her mental and physical health will start to deteriorate as the atrocities she's witnessed will start taking their toll on her. This film is the narrative feature debut of Matthew Heineman, a critically acclaimed documentary filmmaker who has made an amazing documentary released back in 2017 called City of Ghosts. It was about a citizen journalist group, one of the only few reliable sources of information from the Syrian city of Raqqa. Now, they report on war news, and they exposed the atrocities that ISIS were committing in their hometown. His approach to filmmaking in both that documentary and in this film as well really seems to be a deeply intimate one. He seems to really aim to paint these very personal portraits and to present us with the journeys of these people who are fighting in these conflicts as journalists. He really seems to have a personal passion for putting a face on these topics, these issues and these problems, because these sort of topics are usually presented to us in a very impersonal way in the news, usually relegated to mere photos or statistics. And he really wants to give the opposite of that. He really wants to give his audience a very visceral and very intimate experience in the hopes of having that audience come out with a greater sense of empathy and a greater sense of understanding for the topic. Marie Colvin is pretty much the embodiment of this idea and of this sentiment. This is a character that's executed with laser precision. This is a character that we pretty much understand from the very beginning of the film, and it's a character that remains consistent all throughout the film. She remains consistent in her convictions, in her fearlessness, in her rebelliousness, and in her drive to present the truth, in her drive to show us the stories of the innocent and of the voiceless, all the while sacrificing her personal life, her sanity, and even her body in the process. There isn't a single false note in this entire film, folks, and in this character, I never felt like anything was off. Everything about it felt incredibly direct and focused. The casting is excellent. I mean, Rosamund Pike, genius as she always is, looks and sounds just like the real Marie Colvin. It's pretty amazing. Whose main characteristics were that she never actually learned to properly use a laptop, yet she works on a laptop all the time, documenting and reporting on some of the most important events of our time. She really does have a reputation of being brutally honest and the determination to go that extra mile, to go beyond what is necessary and what is expected, to really be able to tell us the stories of the people who are starving, who are sick, and who are dying in these conflicts, and to really make their suffering the most important part of her report. But in order to be able to go that extra mile, sometimes you will have to become pretty reckless. And I just love the direction this film took, because there's no real character arc here, I would say. I mean, this character doesn't change all that much internally. She changes externally, and everything around her seems to change as well. But instead of being this meandering film with no real character arc, they sort of went in the direction of having this kind of counter arc, I would say, in which it's her recklessness that will start putting her in more and more danger as the conflicts intensify. It's exactly that recklessness that doesn't seem to be so alarming and so disquieting in the beginning that will slowly start turning into foolishness and into insanity, also as her life and her health will start to deteriorate. Her struggle with post-traumatic stress disorder in the second act of the film is very emotionally charged, and there is a very pivotal scene during which she shares some psychobabble, as she calls it, with her best friend, during which we get to find out some pretty important stuff about her. We get to find out that she has daddy issues. We get to find out that she basically is the opposite of her mother, because she could never feel like she could become the suburban housewife in a safe life. She says that she diets not to get fat, but also having witnessed so many people go hungry, she also likes to eat. She says that she fears growing old, but she also fears dying young and all that. She says that she hates being in a war zone, but she also feels compelled to see the wars for herself. So this is a person who pretty much does this job that not a lot of other people would, for a very noble reason, but also there's also something very pathological about it. She also really can't imagine a world in which she couldn't ever do this job. That's why I said that the character is executed with laser precision. I mean, not only is Rosamund Pike playing her so well, and not only does she look and sound exactly like the real person, the character is also written in a way for her to feel incredibly relatable. I mean, some of the stuff she talks about, man, I mean, about realizing how privileged and how lucky you are only after you've witnessed people so much less fortunate than than you, about being completely unable to identify with the convictions and the lifestyles of the people who should be closest to you, like your own flesh and blood, and going in a completely different direction in life, and the fear of growing old and the fear of dying young. Man, I mean, I think that's pretty much something that haunts every single one of us. Everyone who says otherwise is probably lying. So that was my 2 cents on A Private War, folks. I absolutely love this film. I think it's amazing. And the fact that it didn't get any nominations at the Oscars for directing, for writing, and for main actress is just absolutely fucking insane. So do yourself a favor, folks, and please watch this film. I highly recommend it. My question to you guys would be, what are some of your films about journalists? I'm really curious to know about your answers. Don't forget to leave them down below in the comment section below. Thanks for watching my review again. As always, I love you for it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell thing to get notifications every time I put up a new video. Thanks for watching again, folks. I hope I'll see you again soon, and until that happens, have a great night or evening or morning or whatever you do. Keep watching movies and stay cool and stay awesome. Okay, goodbye, folks.